What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, we have a real one coming up. We have a real one. Everything else before this has been pretend. Everything else before this has almost been like a trailer for a film. We have a real blockbuster coming up. There's no two ways about it. Danny Jacobs versus Canelo is the biggest fight of 2019, hands down. Like, hands down. There isn't a bigger fight. If you're waiting for a bigger fight, then you might be waiting for a whole, I don't know, a whole nother year. This is the biggest fight. No one is weight drained. No one is coming down in weight. No one is coming up a weight. No one is coming off a loss. This is two guys legit at the peak of their powers, both world champions, both about to get it on, and I can't wait. I've been excited for some fights this year, and I've been thoroughly let down on some of the fights that I was excited for. I was a little bit excited for Spence versus Garcia, and then I realized that that wasn't going to be a contest, and I said it. I done a lead-up video to it. I was a little bit excited about Broner-Pacquiao, and I said in the lead-up to that Pacquiao was going to destroy Broner. Everything else I've been like, There's nothing else that excites me. Nothing going on in the heavyweight division, nothing going on in the light heavyweight division, nothing. This, though, excites me. This excites me. Danny Jacobs is a real one, right? You know, aside from the fact that Danny Jacobs is a real one, Danny Jacobs just looks like, and is, I think, a very, very nice human being, right? The way he conducts himself in the ring and outside of the ring is perfect. And any young fighter coming up should look at him and think, that's the way you conduct yourself. And that's why I'm happy that he gets this opportunity, not just to fight Canelo, which is a good opportunity, a unification fight, but just that he gets that lottery ticket, right? Fighting Canelo, he's probably going to get somewhere between, I'm going to guess and say $10 to $15 million, which is fantastic money for the career he's had. And I'm happy for him, because I look at some of these other young kids in America and the way they conduct themselves outside the ring. And you know the group, that they could almost be a brat pack now. That group of Charlo and Broner and Gervonta Davis, and Errol Spence was close to getting in that group as well. The way they conduct themselves just disgusts me. And then we got the way that Danny Jacobs conducts himself, and I think it's fantastic. So I'm happy that he's got the opportunity. But he must realize this. He's already down on the scorecards. There's no two ways about it. Danny Jacobs should realize that he needs a knockout to win. Either that or he needs the performance, boxing performance of his life to get the decision. Because, I mean, we're already hearing about some of the judges that are in the pool to judge this fight, and it's not going to be good news for Danny Jacobs, not at all. So Danny Jacobs needs to approach this fight knowing that he needs to lay this kid down to win. And he can, by the way. Danny Jacobs is really a light heavyweight masquerading as a middleweight. He's a very, very big guy. I think they showed the 30-day weigh-ins, and he's massive. There's no two ways about it. He is a massive dude. So if anyone can put this guy to sleep, it's Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is fast. He's fleet-footed. He does everything. He's probably one of the most underrated boxers in terms of he does everything. Left hand, right hand, body, movement. His IQ is good as well. So he's got enough in the reserve. He's got enough in the tank to beat Canelo. But it won't be easy. But regardless of if he does or he doesn't, his story is a fantastic one. We know about the story, right? I mean, coming up, this guy was supposed to be the next big thing. We all know that story. Then he had that fight against Dimitri Pirog, who I wonder what would have done if he didn't get injured later on in his career. But he had that fight against Pirog, got put to sleep. Then he had the issues with cancer. And then he slowly but surely started to come back. And I still don't believe that he thought he belonged as an elite middleweight. Even during those wins against the likes of the Jared Fletchers of the world, the Sergio Moras of the world, even the win against Peter Quillen, because it was like a first-round knockout, I still didn't believe that he thought, you know what, I belong with the Golovkins at the time. Every interview he did before fighting Golovkin, he seemed almost a bit fearful, I thought. And this is where you know you can get something in a loss. Even in the Golovkin loss, and it was a close fight, but I still think he lost it by maybe a round or two. I think he realized, you know what, I belong at this level. And I think since then we've seen him in good performances against the likes of Sulecki and Derevchenko, who no one wants to fight. And now he gets this opportunity to fight Canelo. So look, I wish him good luck, and I think he's got a fantastic chance. It won't be easy, but he's in a good place right now. And again, if any middleweight can beat Canelo right now, if I had to pick any middleweight, I would pick Danny Jacobs. I wouldn't pick Andrade, I wouldn't pick Charlo, and I definitely wouldn't pick GGG now. I would pick Danny Jacobs. For Canelo, I mean, this guy's resume is just becoming stupid. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous now. I mean, the names that he's starting to stack on this resume, if he does ice Danny Jacobs, I think he's pound for pound number one. I think he's pound for pound number one. I do. I think he jumps above I don't know where you have him in the rankings, but he jumps above Usyk, he jumps above Loma, and he jumps above Terence Crawford for me if he ices Jacobs. Again, it won't be easy for him. Jacobs, again, brings a completely different style to the last 3 or 4 people he's fought, right? Completely different. I mean, this is nothing obviously like a Rocky Fielding, but even in terms of GGG just stands in the pocket and trades with him. Danny Jacobs won't do that. But this guy's resume is fucking ridiculous. I still don't know where I put him because of that drug issue. I still don't know how I look at him, but this guy comes to fight. He comes to fight and you just got to appreciate it. And I love that, I really do. Potentially, I think we're looking at fight of the year. And I'm not, this isn't hyperbole, this is real. This could be fight of the year. Again, neither of these guys have excuses, nothing. There is nothing you can say about them in terms of, yeah, but no, there are no buts. This is legitimately, at worst, number 1 versus number 3. You could make an argument, say number 1 versus number 2, although I do have GGG still as the best middleweight in the world, I know, which is crazy, but legitimately, you could say this is number 1 versus number 2. There are no excuses. Finally, we have a big fight, people. A fight that I think will live up to the hype, unlike some of the other fights that we've had so far, which have just been crap. Let's be honest, all the fights this year that have been so-called big fights, super fights, have been useless. And this could be the big one, the big one. I pray to God that Danny Jacobs calls the upset just because I like him. I pray to God that he calls the upset just so that he can mix up a bit in this middleweight division. If he does, then, I mean, who knows what's next, right? Who knows what's next? But this is the one, people. This is the one we've been waiting for. Cinco de Mayo, Canelo, Jacobs, middleweight unification. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. Peace. Actually, there is one problem I have with this fight, and that's the rehydration clause. We are hearing that the IBF, who normally insist on the rehydration clauses, we're actually going to give this one a blind and say, you know what, no rehydration clause. But Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo's team insisted on a rehydration clause. And the IBF were like, okay, no problem. You are the A side in this rehydration clause. That's the only problem I have with this fight. Apart from that, nothing, right? Vardo doing the drug testing, aren't they? So we're cool. So this is definitely a peace out.